My mind is literally blown. Today we are talking about synchronicities, and while we are going to dive deep into that, I just had the wildest thing happen to me. So I was talking with a really wonderful individual on my Instagram. Her and I have had an incredible back and forth for a really, really long time, and she's really this most incredible being. And she was asking me some questions about my program and all this stuff, but that is beside the point. So just yesterday, she was looking up the meaning of the number 707 because she had been seeing 707 multiple times a day. So she's like, you know what? I'm just going to like Google the meaning. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to see what this means to me. So she Googled 707. And do you know what 707 meant? It meant you were stuck. So I just put out a video on Instagram this morning called Feeling Stuck Sucks and What to Do About It. So all the time I take my video that I put up on my social media and I put it to my stories. So I put it up on my stories and lo and behold, how long is the video? 7 minutes and 7 seconds. I was like, I cannot even like deal with how powerfully synchronistic that is. Like, what are the odds that I film a video about feeling stuck and it is exactly 7 minutes and 7 seconds long and the meaning of 707 is feeling stuck? I don't even know what to do with that information. I'm just gobsmacked and blown away. So I literally just messaged her and I was like, I'm opening with this. And I hit the record button 1 minute before I should have because I was that excited I had my pants. But it's a perfect segue into this incredible topic today, which is synchronicities. And if you have never heard of this topic before, and this is the first time you're hearing this terminology, allow me to set the stage for you. Allow me to bring to light what the term synchronicity is and what it means. I'm so excited and jazzed right now. My energy is like way up there. So if you need a little extra energy today, let me just like push it your way like a Care Bear, you know? Do you remember Care Bears? So they have the, anyway, not what we're here for. But I wanted to talk about synchronicity today. Number one, because I was intuitively called to talk about it. So whenever that happens, I know someone needs to hear about it. And number two, for me, as I was navigating my therapeutic journey, and I've talked about my journey through therapy many, many times before. It's never been a secret. I still have therapy now, just in a totally different capacity. But as I was going through it, in my darkest of times, what ended up happening for me is it went from being like this beautiful talk therapy relationship where I was being me and able to just get all this stuff off my chest with a really neutral third party. And it went from being simply about talking about problems and things I had been through, and it started shifting into this most beautiful, organic, wonderful spiritual awakening. And when I say spiritual awakening, I'm not necessarily talking about religion. Spirituality means a lot of different things to a lot of people, but for me, spirituality was like tuning into the universe, recognizing potentiality, understanding and knowing what I was capable of, and then putting those things into action. But while that was happening, as I was exploring all these incredible topics, I started tuning into meditation. I started really becoming obsessed with like crystals and purchasing crystals and their healing power. As all that was happening, I started seeing repeating numbers so often. And I am talking about, I will have a whole day where I will see repeating numbers from morning till night. Now I work on, because of my experience in the transportation industry for many years, I work on a 24-hour clock. That's simply how I think. My phone is on the 24-hour clock. There were days where starting at 10:10 in the morning until 11:23 p.m., which is 23:23, I would see the repeating number every hour. And when I say that, I mean 10:10, 11:11, 12:12, 1:11, 2:22, 3:33, like, now that's not the 24-hour clock, so excuse me, let me go back. 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, and so on and so forth. That is how often I would see these repeating numbers. And then I would go to a regular 12-hour clock and I would see things like 111, 222, 333, 444. Like, it was happening so much as I was going through this spiritual kind of awakening during my therapeutic journey that I was like, whoa, this cannot be a coincidence. And that is what synchronicities are really all about. They are meaningful coincidences. And if you know anything about me, you know I do not believe in coincidences. I truly feel that coincidences are divine meanings or divine interventions that you're meant to pay attention to. And really, when we talk about synchronicities and we think about what they are signs from the universe, from God, from source energy. They're like little, I'm terrible at winking. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm just in one of those moods today. It is literally a wink from the universe telling you and sharing with you that you are on the right track. You are onto something and you are meant to continue to follow that path. And so that is what I did. Every time I saw a number, I was like, okay, I'm on the right path. But we're going to get into what to do, because I know your initial reaction all the time when you see a number, and this is the same for the person I was just talking to, your initial go-to is be like, let me Google this and let me see what it means. But sometimes what happens with that is you wind up feeling frustrated because you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't even apply to me. That doesn't feel like it's aligned. That doesn't feel like that's what I'm going through. So I want you to be really mindful when synchronicities are happening in your life and you're seeing repetition or patterns or themes or whatever the case may be. Try to avoid Googling it for a little bit. I know that's going to be hard because we rely on Google. I mean, we rely on Google for everything. Let's be real. So I want you to sort of be really, really particular and mindful in that moment of what you're doing, what you're thinking about, if you can catch yourself, because obviously, these moments are fleeting and you're like, you might be thinking about something and then you see the numbers and then you're thinking about the numbers and not what you were thinking about. So it can be kind of difficult, but I want to encourage you to try and remember and notice what it is you're doing, thinking about, dreaming about even, or considering when you're seeing these repeating numbers. So that was a wild introduction, but I just had to share all of that with you, especially as it relates to that conversation I was just having, because that was really cool and super duper appropriate for what we're talking about today. So, whew. Let me take a breath. But before we get started, just a quick caveat. Remember that synchronicities are really, really personal. It's going to be unique to you. These are the universe telling you things. So while it might be, as I was saying, easy to Google something, if it feels frustrating and that's not applicable, it could be because it's not necessarily what the universe is trying to tell you. It's not trying to tell you the meaning, the Google meaning. It's trying to get your attention, and it's doing it. The only way it can do it is through these repeating patterns or numbers or whatever the case may be. But it's always going to be personal to you. So have fun exploring what it means to you. I know it's easier to go online, but take a moment. This is like a really personal and unique thing, and it's up to you to kind of explore what it means. So let's get onto it. So I only listed like one reason why you're here today, because if you are here today, it is because you're curious about synchronicity, you want to know more, and you've been seeing repeated numbers, patterns, songs, whatever the case may be, and you're like, whoa, what does all this mean? That is the single reason you're here. I can almost guarantee it. And you want to have some sort of base knowledge or understanding as to how to move through it. But let's talk about the definition of a synchronicity. Now, I have two definitions because Carl Jung, who is one of the godfathers of psychology, actually recognized and and had a meaning for this particular term. So I purposely got two. One that was from the American Psychological Association, as understood by Carl Jung, and one that was taken from the spiritual community. And I want you to kind of take notice of the difference and the way the verbiage shows itself, because they are really, really different. So APA says, in the analytic psychology of Carl Jung, I'm not going to talk like that, the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear to have a meaningful connection when there is no explicable causal relationship between these events, as in extraordinary coincidences. However, Jung suggested that some simultaneous occurrences possess significance through their very coincidence in time. I feel like I just sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher, like wah, 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 wah. But it is important. I always want to provide you with the psychological definition of anything we're talking about, because I feel like it gives you a basis in research, in peer-reviewed research that is well known and has been well studied. So let's move away from the APA and go to the spiritual definition, which says synchronicities are not just coincidences meant to surprise and delight us. Let me try that again. Synchronicities are not just coincidences meant to surprise and delight us. Rather, spiritual synchronicities are strategically orchestrated and perfectly aligned to deliver a message, provide guidance, or provide reassurance that we're on the right path. Does that not sit a little bit better with you? Like for me, when I read that, like that just hits my heart, my soul, my guts. Now, while I find it fascinating that this was something that Carl Jung explored during his time with us on Earth, and he recognized it, like to me, it just feels really, really rigid, that yes, it seems like a coincidence, but is it really real? Is there scientific proof? Is there a scientific basis or background to this? But synchronicities are felt in your heart, your soul, your guts. It's not about cause and effect and all of this stuff. I mean, there is an element of cause and effect because it kind of depends on where your brain is at. But at the same time, in my personal and humble opinion, this formal definition really doesn't capture the essence of what a synchronicity is. And as I made mention of, coincidences to me, I just don't feel like there's any I just feel like they don't exist. Like we connect with people at the perfect time. We connect with individuals at the perfect time. We see numbers at the perfect time. Everything around us is happening kind of like behind the scenes and in perfect timing. So I want to really just put that out there because synchronicities are truly meaningful coincidences, but we all know coincidences aren't real. They're meant for you. So I'm just going to park that there. And and what's interesting about this is that as you're starting to see synchronicities, especially if you hadn't seen them or you hadn't been noticing repeating patterns or themes before, you might start to think like, am I going like, woohoo? Is something going on with my brain? What is happening? Why am I seeing all this? You might actually think there's something wrong with you. And there is nothing wrong with you. I would challenge you to be like, wait a minute, what is right with me? I want you to ask yourself that question. If you're feeling like you're loco for seeing all of these synchronicities or these repeating patterns, I want you to stop and be like, wait, what is right with me? What am I doing in my life right now that is causing me to see all these patterns? And what am I supposed to be paying attention to even more so than I'm doing right now? Don't ask what is wrong with you. Ask what is right with you, because that is why you're seeing these patterns. So let's talk about why this is happening to you to begin with, because I'm sure that's what you want to know. So you are likely on a journey of personal growth, personal expansion, and you're doing things differently than you have up until this point. You're starting to grow and develop in a way that maybe you hadn't even considered in the past. And now you're taking it really seriously and you're like, no, I'm putting myself first. I'm making shifts. I'm making changes. I'm not accepting things as status quo. I'm not going to accept the way things are. And you're really starting to kind of come out of the shell and spread your wings and fly. So you're going to start to see them there when you're on this journey of personal development. If you're becoming more connected and you're strengthening your spiritual connection to source, God, the universe, you're going to become obviously more open to receiving signs from it because you're becoming more open to it. You're nurturing and strengthening that relationship. And what is also happening here, and I don't know if you are aware, but we all have a higher self. Obviously we have a self, but we also have a higher self, which is your truest nature, your whole self. If we strip away everything and we bring you back to baseline, who you're truly meant to be, if we can take away and eliminate all of the self-doubt, all of the limiting beliefs, all of the societal expectations, everything that you've learned from, that you've gathered and been conditioned to believe, if we strip all of that away and we look truly at your absolute whole perfect, authentic nature, that is your highest self. So sometimes when you're seeing synchronicities, that's your higher self. That's your you trying to tell you like, hey, you've got this. It's like your cheerleader, rah, 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 right? This is also likely happening to you because as you go on this kind of beautiful exploration of personal development, you're instantly heightening your own self-awareness. As you heighten your self-awareness, you heighten your energy, you increase your frequency, you increase your vibration, and then you're calling it in like a magnet. You can't really be tapped into these powerful messages unless you're vibrating at a higher vibration. You kind of have to be putting out the vibe to get it back. So that right there, again, when we're asking not what is wrong with me, but what is right with me, your energy is increasing. You're putting out a higher frequency into the universe, and so you were getting messages and confirmation and winks back. I wonder how many winks are going to be in this. I'm going to try not to because I know it's painfully awkward to watch, but oh my gosh, I'm super excited. I'm sure you can feel it. And remember, again, I'm going to keep driving this home. This is unique to you. You are seeing signs. It's because if you're seeing signs like this, it's because there's a powerful message. It is a powerful message that you are meant to see. It is like a high five, not a wink. It's like a high five, like you're on the right track. You've got this. You are supported in whatever endeavor you are taking on right now, right? And another great thing in terms of like what's happening to you is it's extending, as you're seeing these synchronicities, it's extending an invitation for you to explore and sharpen your intuition. Because again, like we said earlier, obviously your go-to is going to be like, let me just Google this. But if you can fall into your intuitive side and ask yourself, even ask your higher self, what does this mean? And give yourself a few minutes just to kind of allow that answer to come to you, because it will. And now this will take practice and it will be like a tiny little voice in the beginning, but it will get stronger and stronger the more you do it. So it's a powerful way to test your intuition and to really get in that wonderful relationship with it. And keep in mind too that a lot of times synchronicities could arise when you're on the verge of making an important decision, like go left or go right. This could be like, are you thinking of switching careers? Are you thinking of going back to school? Are you thinking of starting your own business? Are you thinking about going to counseling or therapy? These numbers can also serve to support you in making those decisions as well. Like a universal hot or cold. You remember that game? Like you hide something somewhere and someone's like hot, colder, hotter, colder. Like your synchronicities are like your universal game of hot and cold. Like, okay, you're hot, hot, hot. If you're thinking about, yeah, really, what's school going to be like when I go there? What am I going to like? What am I going to learn? What am I going to learn? I'm not going to say that again. You get my meaning. And you're seeing repeating numbers, or a song comes on that's like talking about going back to school. You need to tune in and listen up, right? And another note I want to make too, and I should have done this earlier, but I put the note here instead. So if you're feeling like you can't share this with people because you're having those feelings, like are people gonna think I'm nuts? Are they gonna think like, what's wrong with her? Like, why is she thinking this way? Why is she talking about repeating patterns and numbers? I want to like gently reframe that, and I want you to ask yourself, like, what is going on beneath the surface? I want you to dig a bit deeper there, because if you're feeling like you can't share this with other people, like, what's going on? Because it can be a sign that you've got some internal work to do. Are you fearing being judged? Are you concerned around that person's reaction, or they might not approve, or they might give you a funny look and be like, okay, Denise, whatever you say, you just go see your repeating numbers. Our societal expectations, have they conditioned you up into this point to only think about the logical and not even tune into the spiritual? Like, dig deeper and figure out why you're not wanting to share this information with other people. Now, if you don't want to share it with other people simply because you're in an exploration phase and you want to keep it personal until you understand its deeper meaning, that's a totally other thing. But if it's because you're worried about judgment, that's indicative of some more internal work that you might need to do and explore. And it's a call to find your people. If you feel like if you talk about this with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and they're going to just judge you, find your people. Find the people, the individuals that won't judge you, that will think it's fascinating, that will want to get in that conversation with you. So it could be a call for you to actually tap into and make manifest more friends or relationships that are willing to explore this with you. So that's just kind of a side note. But let's talk a little bit about there was someone walking past my door, what synchronicities look like. So again, these are going to be very personal, but it's going to really depend. A lot of people, and this was talked about in the Facebook group, a lot of people see repeating numbers. That seemed to be the most common thing. And most people were talking about clocks, but think about addresses, license plates, numbers on billboards, like even street addresses. These can also be synchronistic in nature as well too. You could, wake up in the morning at 444, and then you're going about your day and you're driving down the street, you look to your right and there's the address 444, and then you go to the plaza up the street and their address is 444, and then you look at a truck and it says 444 and the phone number. Like, there could be lots of ways that you can see numbers. It's not just specifically clock, and be mindful of like phone numbers and things like that too. So that's one way. Songs can be a big thing. So if you're considering something, if you're considering making some change in your life and a song pops on and you're like, I can't even believe that song is playing right now, like that reminds me of so and so, or that reminds me of a time when I did make a difficult decision and I was really, really pleased with the outcome. Like, pay attention to songs too, because songs are always trying to speak to you. If you stop and you notice, think about the lyrics. How does this apply in this case? How is this trying to direct your attention to an answer for yourself? Songs are really, really, really powerful. For me, I've been singing from now on from Greatest Showman all day, and I'm probably gonna have to listen to that afterwards, because obviously right here in this moment, I can't seem to think of any of the lyrics, even though I know the whole album off by heart, but I'll listen to it later and let you know. So keep songs that, especially if they pop in your head out of nowhere, they don't even have to be playing on your phone or on the radio or whatever. If they pop into your mind, be mindful. Think about the lyrics. Take a moment to kind of analyze what they might mean for you and what they're trying to tell you. Another way synchronicities appear are hearing people talk. Like, if you're eavesdropping and people are discussing the exact thing that you're challenged with and they're perfect strangers and you have no ties to them, listen in. Again, it is a call. It is a synchronicity. It is a sign from the universe that you are meant to further delve into that topic for yourself, that you're on the right path, that even considering it is the right thing for you to do. And it gives you a moment to eavesdrop, which, I mean, right now, many of us are not eavesdropping, but I always used to kind of like listening on people's conversations, just mostly because I'm fascinated by people in general, but it gives you a chance to eavesdrop. Personal connections. Think about this. Perhaps you're considering a career switch. You're thinking about going from transportation, you want to get into nursing, and all of a sudden you're in the grocery store and someone starts talking to you while you're, looking at the Asian pears in the produce aisle, and you get to chatting, and she is a nurse. And you've made a connection that's like, whoa, that's kind of freaky. Like, why all of a sudden am I called to talk to this person looking at Asian pears, and she's a nurse and I'm thinking about going to nursing school, and all of a sudden we connect just like that and we start talking about it? That is a synchronicity. So personal connections are also really, really powerful. And again, that little nudge, I won't wink, I promise. A little nudge from the universe that you're on the right track. Commercials, TV shows, all with similar underlying themes, like those can also be very synchronistic in nature, and they're talking to you. I'm telling you. I'm not necessarily talking about ads on like Facebook or Instagram or things like that, because we all know if you've been Googling like nursing school, then like all these nursing school things are going to show up on your ads because of the algorithm and all that stuff. But if all of a sudden you're like watching TV and every commercial you notice for that whole day is about nursing, again, synchronicity, right? And seeing specific animals as well too. I mean, animals can be just as synchronistic as numbers can be. I had a client that I worked with that went through the most incredible shift I have seen in my whole life. And while this was happening, she was seeing bunny rabbits consistently. And for her, bunny rabbits were this sign like that she was being supported, that every decision she was making was the right decision. Be mindful of animals and when they present themselves and when you notice them and what the animal means to you. What is the personal meaning that that animal is bringing and what are they trying to tell you? Be mindful of that. And this doesn't necessarily mean seeing them in person. I mean, for me, I see flamingos everywhere, and it doesn't matter if I see a flamingo on a mug, on a commercial, on a truck, on a TV show, on pajamas, on a shoe. Like, I see them everywhere. And for me, it's always a consistent reminder, like, tap into my fun side and be my authentic self, and be cool with being a little bit different and standing on one leg and all this other jazz, right? But be mindful of what animals are telling you, because they can be a really big synchronicity for you. So tune in. And also keep in mind too, alignment with other people. And like their birthdays or their sun signs or things like that. I find I attract nothing but Cancer women. Every woman that I have been close to has been a Cancer woman, with the exception of one. But all of my newest relationships that I had been forming, all Cancers. It blows my mind. I'm just like, really? Another Cancer female? What is the connection here? There is a connection. There is a reason that you have these alignments with different people, and it's a sign that maybe you're connecting with the right individuals, right? So let's talk a little bit about how to call in more synchronicity, right? So if you're seeing signs and patterns and you want to cultivate more of that, and you really want to tap into your intuition, you want to see more, there is one thing you have to do. The first thing you have to do is ask for it. And I want you to literally ask for it. Universe, I want to be open to more signs from I want to be more open to more signs from you. I welcome any signs. I welcome numbers. Please allow me to bring my attention to it. So ask and ye shall receive. Nothing could be more true in this case. So the first way to cultivate and welcome in more synchronicity is to simply ask for it. You will never understand the power of asking for something unless you do it. And it could be, again, the universe is the big thing for me, but for you, you could please God, I want to see more synchronicities. I want to be open to it. Please allow my eyes to be directed in the way it needs to be. Whatever the case may be, simply ask for it, and you will become sharper as this progresses. So, and also as you're welcoming these, you're gonna want to. After you ask for it, you have to notice them and think about how much we're distracted just as a species in general, like. Scroll, watching TV, going about our day, doing our busy work, living life on repeat, get up, brush teeth, same actions all the time. We're not really being present. So in order to explore the wonderfulness of synchronicities, you have to notice them. So take a moment, notice, be mindful, keep your head up instead of always scrolling. Well, that's a sign from the universe that I should shut my phone off. Holy cannoli. But yeah, you want to notice them. And when you see them, stop and think. We talked about this earlier. What does this mean to me? What was I just thinking about? What was I just doing? Like, for example, let's say, you are creating art for the first time. Okay, you are like, I want to explore art, I want to explore painting, I'm really feeling called to do it. So you get all your stuff out, all your papers, your pen, your paints, everything, and you just start. And you look up and you see the clock 11:11. Like, what does that mean to you? You're like, wow, this is really validating that I'm doing something that's bringing me joy, that's bringing me peace. And then you get lost in it again. And then you look up and it's 12:12. Like, whoa, there's another confirmation. Like, for 1 hour, I've been sitting here and I'm really enjoying myself and I'm lost in the moment. And I'm getting validation that I'm doing something that's really bringing me joy, that's meant for me, that's right for me. Maybe I should continue to explore painting and I should make more time for it, right? So always stop and think, what am I doing? What am I thinking about? What am I trying to have my attention drawn in towards? Like, what are they trying to tell me? What is this mean for me specifically? And avoid Google if you can. Going inwards, asking for further clarity. I mean, this is very similar to just asking to see synchronicities in general, but I spend a lot of time going inwards, whether it's through meditation or just taking a few moments of silent pause and just asking for clarity. What does this mean? I keep seeing 444. What does this mean to me? And just sitting with that and letting answers come to you. Again, the answers will, like, it'll be a little answer in the beginning, but sooner and, with time, it'll get more and more powerful and you'll be able to really tune into that really quickly. But it requires you to go inwards and ask for clarity as opposed to doing the easy route, which is going to Google, right? And you can also ask too, like, you can ask for signs as well too. So if you're trying to gain clarity around, okay, I want to see a sign about whether or not I should switch careers or not. If it's a yes, allow me to see a dove. If it's a no, allow me to see a parrot, right? And then just like put it out of your mind. And throughout the day, you'll probably at some point you either see a dove or a parrot and you'll be like, holy cow, like, what? The dove was a sign that I should take a chance and make a change. And the parrot meant to hold for now, right? So but again, you don't want to be like actively searching for it. Put it out of your mind. Ask to see the sign. Ask for ask for the clarity through the sign, and then put it out of your mind. Meditation's another great way. Again, this goes hand in hand with being able to, quiet the mind, right? And if you can go inwards and ask for that clarity and just sit with it and be present with it, a lot is going to come to mind. And I know a lot of people think meditation is about quieting the thoughts, but if you're actively asking for clarity on something, you're kind of welcoming those little thoughts. Not like the ones that are telling you can't do it and just stay stuck and all that stuff, but the ones that are encouraging. You can leave yourself open to it. And it might come in through meditation, it might come through colors or images or lights, or it could come in a lot of different ways, But asking for signs and waiting and using those moments of solitude and quiet to welcome in further signs is really powerful. Another great way to kind of tune into and welcome and understand your own synchronicities is to pay attention to the body. So if you're seeing a synchronicity, like if you're seeing 444 and your entire body erupts in goosebumps from head to toe, like you got in your armpits even, that is a sign that you're meant to pay attention. What was I talking about? What was I thinking about? What was I considering? What was going on? Why am I getting these goosebumps? The body is a messenger as well. So you see the synchronicity, the body reacts, then you're doubly sure that you need to be paying attention, right? The body will support you in your journey towards understanding symbols and patterns and repeating numbers and all that good stuff. You're also probably going to want to spend some time writing these things down, because if you see something once, like if I saw 444 and I just saw it once, I might just think nothing of it. But if I continue to see it, you're going to want to start jotting things down or make a note in your phone, because I think that's easier for most people. Be like, whatever, on this day, 444, I saw it, I was thinking about this. Put it to the side and take note of when you're seeing, what you're seeing, and what you were thinking at the time, because then when you go back after a month of doing this activity or a couple of weeks of doing this activity, you can start to recognize the patterns, and it'll give you even more clarity as to what you're being guided towards, what you're supposed to be doing, what you're meant to be seeing with all these synchronicities, right? So that's really important too, especially if you're new to this. You're going to want to jot some things down. And another big thing about this is just being mindful of your thoughts, my friends. Be mindful of what you're thinking. If every time you're seeing a synchronicity, you're like, oh, that's just my mind going loco again. Like, ugh, that doesn't mean anything. That's going to continue to be the reality. If you think I'm open to synchronicity, I welcome it, I want to receive these messages, if that is the thought you're putting out there, that's what you're going to get back, right? But if you're shutting it down and you're thinking, oh, there it is again, whatever, it's meaningless, then you're going to cultivate more of the same, right? So set yourself up and think the thoughts that I am open to receiving these patterns, I'm opening to receiving these messages, and don't close down. And finally, just be persistent. Sometimes these things take time to understand what these things mean to you, to see the patterns, to be able to recognize and notice what's happening and what it means to you personally. It's going to take time. So persistence is everything. I thought today was going to be short. My cup says, hello, gorgeous. That's for you. Anyways, if you have any questions about synchronicities, if you need any further clarification or you want to pick my brain on something, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm an open book when it comes to this stuff, and obviously I'm supremely excited about it. But with that, I hope you have the most wonderful day, and I will see you all again soon. Goodbye. So long. Farewell. Okay. No singing. I'll see you soon.